Ah, ah, I'm Poe, and I'm here to tell you about the next interview for Live in Glymm. That will be Dame Gorandookht, Mommy Ganyan. Yay! She is awesome. And now, here is His Lordship, Volk the Grey.
Hello everybody. So I'm here actually on location in the Mayfair site. As you can see, here we are. All right, there's the archery range, and there's where we will be putting up the pavilion and camping, and way up there is where we'll be having other things. So, without further ado, here is the interview with Dame Gorandookht, Mommy Ganyan. Yay! Greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm back in the studio, and I wish to make a bit of an amends and apologize. I messed up Dame Goran's name, and I wish to apologize. It is Dame Gorandookht, Mommy Ganyan. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now here's the interview. Hi, I'm Volk the Grey, His Lordship, and this is Live in Glymm. And I am here with Dame Gorandookht, Mommy Ganyan.
Okay.
Mommy Ganyan.
Yeah.
Horrible. Okay. I have known this lady for many, many years, and she is quite awesome, and she is a wealth of knowledge and history about our wonderful Everclear barony of Glymm and its life before it became a barony, when it was the Shire of Everclear. So, are you ready, my dear friend Goran?
Yes, I am.
So, tell me, what is your history? When did you start playing?
I played in the mid 80s. I think it was 84, but maybe 85. And
So basically ANS like 11, 10, 9?
No, I don't think so. I think it was more like, well, no, more towards late, not quite 20, because
Okay.
I didn't go to 20 this year, but
Okay.
yeah.
20, closer to 20.
Somewhere
Sorry.
around there, yeah. And I was just going to, my family and I were going to a festival outside of Seattle, in Auburn, I think, actually. They called it Heritage Festival, and there were all sorts of different groups that were doing things. And I saw that there was going to be a medieval village. And so I told because I've always been into that. And I told my family, I'll meet you guys back at the dance stage here, but I want to go check this out. And so what ended up happening is I spent pretty much the whole day there talking to the Chatelaine and looking at all the arts demos mostly. There was fighting going on, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But I remember the guy doing I think it's probably culinary demo, because he was saying that in the olden days they had to keep the fire going, it can't go out. I remember a giant spinning wheel. Master Payne, which you can never forget if you ever see Master Payne or meet him, was doing a demo on a game of bowls. And he also later plays a factor into my first 12th night feast. In those days, we were small enough, we had feasts at 12th night. And he did the entertainment, and he put a needle through this small part. Yeah, So it's like, yeah, as if I didn't forget seeing him the first time at this SCA demo thing. Yeah. So anyway, I thought, well, this is cool. And I signed up for the email, but mailing list, I mean, email, this was before that even. And they sent me the Madrona leave, but I lived in Olympia. So some months would go, and then about like next year around May, the Olympian was showing an article with a picture of Richard, his wife at the time, and his child. And it was about Mayfair. And actually, I've got it in my thing, and I've got it's in the 100th issue, as well as I think the 50th issue of Looking Glass is, it's in there. It's talking about Mayfair, and I went, holy cow, there's a local branch of this thing that I saw over there that I thought was so cool. And I didn't know, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to go all the way to Seattle, deal with all that traffic just for this SCA thing, So yeah, I couldn't go Saturday, but I went Sunday. It was very hot, I remember. And I didn't take any pictures like an idiot. But I didn't remember much, but I remember meeting Countess Adara she must have been working at Gate. And I thought, this is cool. She's Greek. There's going to be at least one person that I can relate to, because this is a group I've never thought I would join. This kind of, reenactment stuff. I've never heard of reenactments. So this whole thing of joining a group where you get into garb was like, it's a big commitment. So I thought, well, at least there's one person here who could get me, because we're kind of Armenians and Greeks. We have an understanding. So yeah, I got the mailing list, got the Looking Glasses, but I still didn't go to any events like an idiot again. I went to instead the council meetings that were Shakey's Pizza, which later became Apollo's at on West Side.
Right.
Just to see what events are happening, and also maybe to keep meeting people, because I'm very shy, or was a very shy person. And just maybe it was my way of trying to gauge, is this a good group for me to join? So for several months, I didn't really do anything. And then maybe like a year later, around this time, around Halloween time, at South Sound Mall in Lacey, different groups, not just the SCA, different groups would go around in costumes, walking around, and it's sort of like a demo thing. And we did that, and I thought, well, okay, I can get in costume and it won't look weird because it's Halloween, and I'll be with this group too. So it's a safe way to get into this thing. But once I got in, bam, never stopped. Except for maybe briefly when I went to college, but that's it. Yeah, that's my history.
So basically, you went up to Madrona, went to a medieval fair.
Well, demo really, because it was open to other groups. Like
Right.
Yeah.
A medieval demo.
Pardon.
Yeah,
But,
and then that started you rolling. And once you found your niche, boom! It was love at first sight, or second, third sight.
Well, especially because I said I told my family I'll go check this out, and then I'll meet you, at the dance stage. But I never ever did, because I spent the whole day there, because it felt so magical and so cool, and I just had that butterfly feeling of, this feels right.
I know the feeling well. I know the feeling well.
Yeah, and I've never forgotten it, and I've always kept it as I meet new people, because I remember what it was like, and I want always to make them feel at ease and not too scared, and it's okay, you're safe-ish here, you can join us. So
I wish, you said 80 what?
In mid-80s. It might have been 84 or 85. It's possibly 84, really. But when I started to actually, because my Mayfair was my first event, really. And that was, I think, 85, if not 86.
I wish
by 80, really at 80, in Expo 86, the World Expo, I
Yeah.
was still brand new, and the SCA did a demo there, and I participated because it was on my birthday weekend, and I thought it's an omen. So I was pretty brand new. So it's either it's more like maybe 85, and then 86 is the year that I was really, yeah, once I got in.
What was one of the things that really sparked your interest?
Obviously art, because that's the only thing I remember from that initial demo in Auburn, artistic stuff. It was just the ability to do and research history continuously, and I find it, as how I say to other people, and I think I said it even when I was a shadowing, it's the most fun way you can learn about history. You could do history, because I love history. How can you not when you come from the Middle East? But I hate the way they teach it. And really, the only time I remember from high school, the only 2 times I remember even learning anything from school, was when we did a mock trial in my Western Civ class, and a reenactment of in my US, Russia, China class, a reenactment of just when the revolution happened and all the different groups were trying to they had a Congress to decide which group should be the ruling class. And I was part of the Bolsheviks, the winning team, if you will. So that's all I remember, because it wasn't just about, you got to learn all these things so you can pass the test. And then once you learn it, you forget it. But it was about actually involving yourself in it. And so the SCA was like just one big version of that, and a continuous version of that.
Well, one of the things, yeah, history, it's one of the things that, well, I mean, society would create an anachronism. It's implied. It's implied. Let me tell everybody about the Shire of Everclear.
Well, it was before my time a little bit, definitely, because that one Richard knows, he started it, but not really, but well, it started with Arkeep, medieval group kind of, and Duchess Anharad is the one who started the Shire of Everclear. I came in the mid 80s. So it started with, I think, almost the same way the society started, because she was in the same college as I went to later, in Evergreen State College student there. And they had a Mayfair, or a Mayfair-like event in May there at Everclear. I mean, at the Green.
Evergreen.
Yeah, and it just, I guess it grew, through the years. But that's how, before my time, that started. We were small enough that we had to have at least 5 officers to be legit. And a lot of times what ended up happening is the officers would double up. So one would take they would take a major office and a minor office to cover the needs. Like the seneschal would be a, chatelaine, or I don't know if that ended up becoming major anymore. I always thought it should have been, but I think it was a minor, or some other minor office. So I remember officers doubling up, because
which back then was not that big of a deal. Now, no, we can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was.
The rules were a little bit more fluid.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you had your group, and
we did smaller. We were smaller, so we had smaller events, less events. So that was there, because I remember talking about this, because Wywood, when they were thinking about becoming a barony, asked me to come over and talk to them, and I brought a whole album full of pictures of just before we started to become a barony, and then through on the years. And I remember saying, this is the difference. When you're shire, this is what happens, and when you're a barony, this is what happens. And basically, it was just, we had Mayfair was our biggest event. Then was Yule Feast was our biggest event for winter. And in the middle, in the summer, we had something called Summer Seafood Feast, which was a relaxed event. It was like a picnic, basically. I mean, there were events I mean, like contests, like for subtlety contests. There was bardic entertainment. There was other, the Shire provided the main dish, usually, salmon or something seafood like. There were games. So, but it was more a relaxed event, which also started out again before my time, but it was at the backyard of the seneschal who was my seneschal when I started, but she, Mary Margaret, she made the banner that when we became a barony, we carried that banner that you guys still use, I see.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Wait,
that's what she,
Margaret of Kennydale?
yeah. No, not Margaret, Mary Margaret.
Oh, Mary Margaret. Was she at the birthday party?
No, she wasn't, unfortunately.
Oh.
No.
So from Shire to barony, how did that?
It became a big explosion of creativity because we thought, oh, we're grown up now, so we better look grown up. So it went from being called Everclear to now we got to have that grown up name Glymm, which sort of is tied to the sort of water and also Looking Glass is sort of, reflection.
Right.
And, that sort of thing. And so we did like a big project for like the banner, the tablecloths. But all the officers got new baldricks. I was, I think, Chatelaine then, because yeah, all the officers got baldricks. The herald David had a new silk tabard thing. I don't know what the actual formal name is, because he's going to be up there in that ceremony. There were all sorts. I mean, besides, I don't know if we made I think we did actually. We made the sergeant's cloaks, anticipating that that's going to happen. We're going to have sergeants. Maybe the buckles came later, the belts, but not much later. So there was like an explosion of, hey, we better look like we're a barony. So we had all this stuff, which is good. I mean, it bonded us, all of us working together.
Cool.
And it, again, bigger events. We started to have more events, and we started to autocrat, like 12th night. We've never done a kingdom event. We've never autocrated a kingdom event, hosted one. So that started. So it was like creativity and more stuff to do, more events. I mean, that's the big difference.
It was at a 12th night that we became a barony, right?
Yes, it was in Blathanor. Yes, Blathanor, somewhere in the late 90s, I believe, with Darius and Jacintha. No, was it Darius and yeah, Darius and Jacintha. Yeah, we're the king and queen then with that. And Marguerite was the seneschal.
Seneschal, Marguerite of Kennydale, right?
And what the other difference was, she told us to wear knee pads because we're going to be doing a lot of kneeling. So those are the knee pads that I used later when I fought, the same ones.
Wow, I got to remember that one.
And it does. Okay. We did lean a long time. So yeah, because it's like a longer ceremony.
I've seen some of the pictures, and a lot of people are like down on their knees waiting, and you wonder just how long did they sit there.
Well, thanks to Marguerite, her advice came in handy. I can say that it was a long time for those of us who aren't used to having to be on our knees because of other, we didn't fight or we didn't go to church or anything that required that. So
not a lot of kneeling. So tell me about your becoming a Laurel.
It's like, it was totally unexpected because I expected it years later than when it happened. because that's how we are. We're our worst enemies. But I think it was supposed to be offered to me. I figured that it was supposed to be offered to me at Autumn War because Ronman said, "You are coming, right? You're gonna come." Oh, I'm going, "Yeah, I'm on your retinue. Of course I'm coming." But some family thing happened and I couldn't go. So what happened was in those days they had purely organized, but it was hosted at Mistress Elizabeth Piper and Eleanor's place. These gatherings, they called it Not Just for Sewing. So it's not just people who want to come and work on projects of sewing, but everybody. And usually it was laurels, but also it was like-minded artisans who would show and do stuff. And for the November one, there were extra people. And so, including Thorin. And I thought, well, what's Thorin doing here? Well, maybe he's here to drop off Dagmar and he's going to go off to Shipwreck Beads, which is nearby.
Right.
And the Queen came. Mariam al-Baghdadi was not quite officially my laurel. We were going to become official. I was going to be her apprentice at 12th night. And
you were gonna be her apprentice at 12th night, and she shows up to this meeting.
No, yeah, no, yeah, right. But she came, yeah, because she said, "Hey, the Queen's interested in Middle Eastern stuff. Bring your stuff. She's gonna come to this gathering thing, right?" So I'm thinking, well, that's weird. She's got to be surrounded with other people who know better than I do. But okay, I'll bring stuff, you know. So she's being polite. Oh yeah, this is nice and nice. Somewhere later, she went out, came back with a crown on, and we're all going, "Oh, Your Majesty." I go, "Oh, cute. This is nice shtick." Yeah, well, she does have a crown on, so I guess it is official. Okay. And then they're on their knees. And that's around the time that I realized, I think they just invited me to be a laurel. Which then I turned around and looked, because Ronwin was there and Celia was there. And I was going like that to them. But then, of course, I plopped down on my knees because I realized what was going on. And then I looked at the laurels and said, "Is this okay?" Or at least I looked at them with that look of, "Is this okay?" And they went, "Hell yeah." So I accepted and they did the spiel there. And then we went to Shipwreck Beads. Actually, we had a meeting. We did a quick meeting. We had people volunteering to do different things. Elizabeth, Countess Elizabeth was my herald, was going to be a herald. Thorin was going to be my escort to the thing. Different people volunteered for stuff.
Wow.
So that was that. And then 12th night, Friday, vigil, Middle Eastern theme. It was party, sort of, but also there was a sectioned off area, not sectioned off as much, but I was on the ground having my feet and hands henned, but where people could come and ask me questions, and speak to me and stuff. So we decorated as much as we could to make a hotel meeting room look less so. So Ariantum was wonderful. They brought, because I came with my family through train. And so I wanted to change, I knew how I wanted to decorate it, but I couldn't bring everything with me. So Ariantum had brought the trays, you know, these Middle Eastern tray things and pillows and all sorts of things and carpets, just to help add to the ambiance.
Ambiance, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, my family was there, including my mom who lives in Lebanon, but she happened to be visiting us when the offer was made.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so I didn't sleep, not because it was my vigil, because we had to leave anyway, but I couldn't sleep. But the laurel ceremony was, as much as I could I made it into Armenian elements in it, you know, because like I said, I was thinking it's going to happen way years later. And over the years, I know, and by then I would have better research of to have a more proper Armenian ceremony. But what I ended up doing was using the skeleton of the SCA one or the Antir one, and then put different places had Armenian elements in it. And my mom was able to be participating in it. She sang, she read the Armenian text of the scroll, which later I physically got at the Glymm birthday.
Yes, yes. That was pretty awesome.
That was just so unexpected. Dagmar sang an Armenian song as I processed.
Oh,
There were
wow.
all sorts of things. I had earth from Armenia, and Mariam carried a box with our earth from there. The king anointed me with oil that came from Armenia. There are all sorts of different, as much as I could. I put it because I saw it not as much as my ceremony. It was my way of introducing the Armenian culture to people. You
Right.
know, so it was
Right.
more of that. This is us. This is our music. This is our art. I swore not on a sword or anything. I swore on a repoussé Armenian cross, which like a week or 2 weeks ago, Master William, Fiorleaf, a group of us, Iden Thrisis, had gone to a demo done by this Armenian master, like in real life. He is a master from Armenia in this stuff. And at the end of the demo, he gave me this thing. So I used that to swear on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff happened that was went. So yeah, so the vigil, speaking of which, in the vigil, while people are waiting, Dagmar came up with these questions, trivia question, or a list of trivia stuff
Okay.
for people to entertain them. So I'm pretty much sure the first thing was, what culture did Garan consider when she first joined the SCA?
I'm hoping you're going to go in a direction I think you're going to go, but what culture was that? What was that?
Scottish.
Whoa.
Because I love bagpipes. Bagpipes are either you hate or you love, and they always sounded like home. And then I found out later, well, Armenians use bagpipes too in that area, so that made sense. But yeah, there it is.
Yeah, their bagpipes, if I'm not mistaken, are more Julian. They're a higher pitch, aren't they?
They're very, yeah, there might be. They're very, they're like nasally, but more, yeah, higher pitch.
Yeah, yeah. Like Irish pipes.
Yeah,
So they're yeah, because I've heard them before.
Related to them.
Yeah,
So,
it's the Armenian pipes are. I love bagpipes. Yes, I am Scottish, Irish, and native by birth, and Russian by choice. But it's the pipes. Oh, just I chose
love it
Russian.
or you love it or you hate it. But
You either love it or hate, just like haggis. You either love it or hate it.
and I liked it. I tasted it. I was a judge at one of the baronial ANS things, and the person who ended up winning, one of their entries was haggis. And I said, well, this isn't bad. So,
Oh no, good. It's like they say, there's good haggis and there's bad haggis. There's no in between. There's no in between. Unlike lutefisk, really, I just don't get it.
I haven't tried.
No, I can't. Much like clams, I walk into the room and walk right back out and say, "You guys have fun with that."
Yeah, yeah. I've tried. You can't live in Washington and not have tasted clams. So I have tasted, but they were chewy. At least the kind that I had. I dug for them. With my friends I was living in Longview at the time, so I dug for clams and we ate them afterwards when we cooked them. But they were chewy, and I said, okay, I don't like clams.
Yeah,
I like crabs.
Crab. Oh God, give me all the crab. Give me lobster, scallops, shrimps, but oysters, clams, and gooey duck, which is a clam, but
Yeah, but a different
I mean, it's a great mascot for Evergreen State College, but not so much for my tummy.
And I don't know the fight song, so can't do that one. Don't know it. The Gooey Duck song.
Go gooey ducks, and I don't know what it is.
I have it somewhere because it was in my graduation program thing. They made all of us sing it. They made us sing it at the rehearsal. But trivia. I graduated the same year as Vasilisa and Godric.
Really?
Yeah, because I was a late bloomer. By the time I decided to actually do the college thing, it was way later than that.
Now, Wittenhaven was running at that time, right?
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was still active, but yeah. Ariel, when it started, I think Mistress Ariel and Martin the Harper, they were there in the beginning of it. I remember because I was part of the discussion of some of it, but because it's sort of, it always depended on the students, because it's one of, they go and they
Go and come and go.
The seasonal kind of thing. So,
right.
But for a while, yeah, Wittenhaven was pretty strong. Yeah.
For those of the audience who don't know, Wittenhaven was the college in Glymm at Evergreen State College.
And I think it's basically mostly Evergreen, and I don't know if it included St. Martin's or South Sound, because it's just the college that is attached to Glymm. But it was mostly Evergreen.
Pretty sure it was mostly EP.
And it was the name was chosen of the same tradition as Everclear, with that whole sort of wit in haven for wit.
I did not know that. Wow.
So we kept that whole pun thing as a tradition. We kept it.
We are
yeah.
And as I say on many occasions, Hilaris locus est.
Yes.
We are a silly place. Now let's move a little bit forward. Tell me about, really quick, so you mentioned earlier before the interview that you had a different persona when you first started.
Well, I was always Armenian, because there are two, reasons. One, I didn't go to Armenian school before coming to America. So SCA gave me the opportunity to learn about Armenian history and that fun way of learning history. And two, it was also, as I learned, I wanted other people to learn about Armenians. So I was still an Armenian, but I was an Armenian from the 13th century. And in those times, in the Cilician area, which is present-day Turkey, we were Byzantine, as we took on the European titles instead of the old titles, and the coats of arms, we took on the European ones because of our ties with the Crusaders. Many of them, here's a trivia. The best man at Richard the Lionheart's wedding was the Armenian king, Levon.
Did not know that.
Yeah, several of the queens were Armenian. Queens in Jerusalem, in the Crusade area, or several of the princes in Armenia were Crusaders, because they decided, well, why should I go and fight and maybe die down in Jerusalem when I could marry a local princess here and have my title in the States? So it was Gorandookht was my old name. And my coats of arms is on my AOA scroll. My old AOA scroll is in chief, like the top part is chief, right?
Right.
It's gold with 3 pomegranates. In the main field is red with a gold seahorse. And when I changed my name later, as I became more knowledgeable about my culture, because I decided, well, what's the point of looking like a Byzantine when I'm trying to get people to know what's an Armenian, if I don't look like an Armenian. So I went earlier, I went to 11th century, and I changed my name accordingly and my coats of arms accordingly to that period. So I made a mistake of choosing for my new name a name that was sort of similar to my old name, thinking that would help. but it doesn't, because I am not, because Gorandookht means daughter of Goran.
Right.
Geran is a girl's name. Goran is not.
Oh,
So Gorando, so if you call me Goran, it's like calling me Joe, unless that's a
I'm sorry.
which is no, that's fine. but it also, it's like it's
Hey, Joe, how
hard.
you doing?
If I did something like, oh, I don't know, Zabel, or no, not even Zabel. Anyway, I could have come up with something totally different. But sometimes choosing a name that's similar to the old one, people always end up calling you by the old one instead of the new one. So,
Wow. Well, speaking of your heraldry, I know we have a picture of it, and it should be coming up here any moment.
yeah. Well, that is what it looks like when I had to submit it. I had to put it in this European way, which is in a thing. I'm so glad I have it on my chair. But here's how Armenians in my period did.
So let's see what. Oh, okay. So all right.
It's all in the same same level. It's
Right.
a rectangle with all in the same area. Same field and same, there's no top or bottom. It's all the same.
Cool.
Equal level.
So explain what we're looking at here.
What you're looking at is red with gold pomegranate and gold peacocks facing the pomegranate.
So what's the significance?
Significance is, red and gold are very, I don't know if they're important to Armenian culture, but they are very common. Red definitely, because Europe got its red from Armenia prior to the cochineal that came later from the New World, which was cheaper version of what Armenia provided.
So the red dye came from Armenia.
Yeah, the main red one, yeah. And the pomegranate is a fertility symbol, but it's in, like, even today, anything, like if you see it's a bakery and they have a pomegranate on their sign, you know it's Armenian.
Oh.
Or if there's arts, any kind of art, they'll put pomegranates on there. And the peacock is also important. And if we're speaking during the Middle Ages, peacock also symbolized Jesus Christ. Peacock and roosters on the illuminations they did. So
I did not know that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so I just chose symbols that were important in my culture that says this is an Armenian. Or somebody who's not from Western Europe, basically.
And I know. Let's see that other picture of you with that beautiful collar. So hopefully that will be coming up here.
Yeah, so that was Gorandookht. That's the Byzantine collar that I wore. But this is, if we close it up on it, if we're able to go close up on it, this picture was chosen because that's what the old Shire red deer, we call them red deer, not hard. That's the other thing that changed when we became a barony. We have to sound grown up with our titles. So the arts award was the red deer, and the crystal, Goutte de Cristal, was for the service, and that was an original from a chandelier crystal, and that's a deer horn. And Václav Bílý, one of the other, he was at the birthday celebration. I used him as my herald for when I did Bardic. He did the drawing, the line of the deer on it. But that's
and the red deer is now the red heart. So,
right. It's the red heart, and I can't bring myself to say it because it's not intentional that I can't bring myself to say it. I'm just forever have.
This is the red deer.
Yeah, because when you wear something that big and it's called red deer, you don't forget the name of that award. So no, I think the later ones were beautiful. The cabochon with the glass thing and yeah, they're beautiful. The later baronial ones, but
the earlier ones are definitely what you remember. I know my memory is the medallions that Margit worked on, and so those are. I mean, that's what I got is a red my red heart, my crystal. Or
I've
that.
got an idea for a future special birthday party for the Barony. Is to
Okay.
have, because we had the last time we had different scrolls up
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
to have the different awards, to see the progression of those awards. It would be fun to see that. How,
I'm writing that down right now.
yeah, it just now occurred to me that that would be a cool way to show how we've grown as a branch. If you let me just sit here and think, I'll have a million of them for them. But no, yeah, it just now occurred to me that would be a cool way.
That would be freaking awesome. Speaking of more history, and you said something about fighting. Let's view this wonderful picture of you in armor.
Hey, the one time I did it, it was the year that I was a Laurel, and I thought I could do anything. If all these people couldn't believe in me, then I can do anything. So yeah, there I am. And this is just to prove that I earned my Bavarian favor, which I have with me. This was at Honeymore. And yeah, there's the ballista. And it was a Ronwin was the Baroness, and somehow I don't know how and who started it, but somebody came up with the idea of let's have an all-female ballista crew. And so we are on my favor here. I have triple B's on my Bavarian favor, and it says it's BBB, but it means baronial ballista babes. I think something like that.
I think Bavarian ballista
Bavarian,
babes.
Bavarian.
As I understand it, it was you, Ronwin, and was there somebody else who was part of that?
And a different Eleanor. God, what is it? Eleanor Deliette, a marvelous storyteller, by the way. Still in touch with her, but there were more. There was more of us. Jamesina, I think.
Right. Yeah.
There was a lot of us. I don't know if Celia was part of that, but yeah.
That was during Eric and Ronwin's reign, right?
Yeah. And I thought,
I wish I had started 4 years earlier. Actually, I wish I had started like 20 years earlier, but
me too. I mean, I'm telling you, if I knew the SEA existed in the 70s, because I wasn't here in the 60s. I came into America in 1971. So if I knew the SEA existed in the 70s, I would have been there during Principality days.
Oh yeah.
And Kingdom Day. Oh man. Yeah.
I'm with you.
I missed it by 10 years or so. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that would have been oh, I would have been a fighter. Oh, that would have been fun. But anyway, I was in much better shape than I am right now. So you have a song.
Oh,
tell me about this song that I wish you to sing.
So before that, I'm going to show
everybody to hear your beautiful voice.
So the other group, besides the Bavarians were the fighting group, right? So Hummingbards were the bardic troop, and we were around before Barony. We were a Shire bardic group, just a group of people who didn't just do songs, but we did plays and we did puppets stuff. We did juggling, we did all sorts of things. And so just like with the favor, every time you performed, you'd get a musical note. And for the dancers, we got a shimmy tassel, which is Glimmering Motions, I think, is the name of the troupe, dancing troupe. And if you were
Glimmering.
champion of Hummingbird, the Hummingbird troupe, you get this bass clef cymbal penned by Larry L's husband, Wolfgar.
Wolfgar.
Yeah, Wolfgar. So yeah, so the song, so this wasn't, I don't think we officially did it as the Hummingbirds, but it is in my Hummingbird songbook. And it was performed prior to us becoming officially a barony, but it was the only birthday celebration in June for Gwendolyn and Richard, because they were Tanis and Tanista, or as we would call them, Excellencies. Celia, her ladyship Celia, who was Dagmar's, her Grace Dagmar's apprentice, although at the time I don't think she was. She and I wrote this Volk song, Volk based on the tune of Men of Harlech. This is an ode to Glymm, but we knew that we were on thin ice, because as we finished the page that we are, because we did it in a scroll thing, not like a real one, but I mean like one of those long computer scroll things,
Mhm.
you know, so
Yeah.
that each time we would tear off a page and throw it in the fire to get rid of the evidence. And so I don't know if I should say what happened until I finish the song. I don't know.
Wait till you finish the song.
Finish now. Okay. So this is to the tune of Men of Harlech. I'm seeing us doing this. Men of Glymm. Men of Glymm, stand ye steady. Don't forget to bring your teddy bears. We mean not underwearies. Hold on high and smile. See our sergeants with their belts on, flailing left and flailing left, right on. How they honor. There was a whole choreography with this. That's, and I'm just remembering how it went. How they honor us so proudly. We did stultus, but it's hilarious locusts. Da 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 rainy. Da 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 goody. We're throwing it into the fire. Men of Glymm, stand ye ready, defend us against the baddies. Mighty fighters of Glymm, crush them to the ground. 'Tis the season to be jolly, pray forgive us, we're so sorry. We shall gift you dandelions, aka Glymm daffodils. Glimmer men have arms, Glimmer men have arms like Popeye. They drink Gatorade, it's their ally. For they carry Geron with ease. Hold her high and smile. We get lots of rainy, but we all think it's goody. Oh, Pavilion looks so spiffy. Our Eric is so nifty. We look cool with our heraldry. We are number one. Oh. So the story about holding Geron, carrying Geron, actually this must have been afterwards then, because it wasn't during the next summer. Well, I don't know. But on our first sergeant's trials, I sprained my ankle. One of 4 times that I did that year and a half. I stepped into a gopher hole.
Oof.
And the party was at the clubhouse at my apartment complex. And the new guys, the new sergeants, Valerian, Wolfgang Stergar, and I think Richard is the 4th one. But I know some of them certainly were carrying me in the chair to go over the steps to get into the club. That's why. So that's where that goes. But the story of when we sang this and we were getting rid of the thing was actually Richard was the one who suggested that our crystals should be, me and Salia's crystals should be taken away from us temporarily, but you know, because this was not an act of service. We didn't deserve the crystals that we got it for, but we got it back, of course. But I remember one of the heralds chasing me while trying to get my crystal.
Tell me, how is it that the majority of Glymm have not been hit with the rubber chicken?
I mean, there's another story. Okay, so at our first, not our first event, but when we had a council of crowns from all over the known world came to not Thurston County, but the other one we've used for Mayfair. Is it Lewis or one of those?
It was
like Shelton.
Yeah, it was the Masonic. It was the not Masonic. It was the Mason County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And so they, Sir Richard and Gwendolyn were newly Baron and Baroness, and they hosted, I think probably again Friday night, a kind of a meet and greet party with, not party, but a gathering, but it was a party with the other crowns to come and meet each other, greet each other, and meet the new Baron and Baroness. And I think it was just, not Octavia, Queen. So this must have been during Davin and Octavia's reign as King and Queen of Ontario. But Octavia had inquired to Richard, hey, because he was a Woe member of the Woe, and she asked, hey, is it possible for a whole group to become a Woe? Because she was learning through the course of the night that, you know, we got a fighting group called Bevarians with their cry, Beaver, Beaver, and we got hummingbards with their hum. We got Everclear, which is never clear, the coat of arms of Everclear. He's got the sun and the rain, and you know, all these different things. I don't know if we still did the heap attacks, but we used to have an award where you give somebody from out of the area of the Shire at the time a service award. So
right.
So it was a
tanks,
heap of tanks. Yeah. So it's like everything was being connected with puns, and she was just like, "Is it just possible that a whole group could become a Woe?" But I guess it wasn't. The answer was no. But several of our members, I'm sure, have been, including Richard, for sure. I know.
Including myself, yes.
I am not surprised. I am not surprised. Yeah.
I did not realize Richard was Woad. Oh boy. Okay.
He was a twit first too. He was a twit, and then he became a Woe. Yeah. Now you know.
And Dunstan was Woad. He was Woad because one of the reasons he was Woad was because we at Yule, the Grand Pontiff was there, I believe, and he proclaimed the 100 Beers War, and I'm pretty sure that's what did it. The 100 Beers War. Yes, that was.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard Dunstan. Yes, I'm not surprised as well.
Yeah.
he is a clever wit.
He whacked me with my rubber chicken. So yes, he's such a sweet group of guys. Yes, we are.
Yeah, you kind of have the same personality types, I think.
That's why we're all friends.
So,
hey, what are we gonna do? Let's see, what else did I want to talk to? Oh, so now, sadly, you do not live in Ontario. You live down south. How's everything? Because you're in Caid now?
Yeah, in the
How's
Barony
everything
of Angels.
how's everything in Caid compared to
Warm.
wonderful Ontir?
It's warm, although we're dealing with fires, mundanely speaking.
Yes.
Um,
Still?
Yeah, there was a new one in Glendale, which is near where I am. Only they stopped it pretty quick, so that's taken care of. Don't have to worry. But I learned from living here within at least first or 2 years to always make sure you pack something, your important stuff, and always keep it packed because
To go bag, right?
yeah, because we've had to or had the alarm to prepare, not to actually prepare to evacuate, but the preparation to prepare to evacuate, at least I think 4 times now by now, and already. So it's like, okay, so this is a way of culture here. So there's that. But Caid wise, it was weird being here, having been in Ontario for so long that it's felt like being a new kid, and I'm still learning things. I mean, I actually joined the Royal Retinue year or so ago as a way to learn about their awards and their customs, and I thought this would be a good way to learn it. But I tried to remember, what did I do when I was a newcomer back in Ontario and see if I can remember. It's just like, so it was weird being new here and no one knowing me, and it took a while, but I'm making friends, and it's a different culture. They have short courts. They have
What's okay? So what's a short court? How long?
short court is like half hour.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, at,
Wow.
at the shortest. Yeah, and what's weird is they do the at the end the huzzah thing and the long lit thing, but not always. So like my first Yule feast here for Angels, which is my barony, it's the Los Angeles County, and Altavia, which is Burbank area. They have joint Yule feast. And they did their court, and then they're just like walking off, and I'm like, oh, wait, is court finished? It's like, because they didn't do the long live, Caid or long live.
Long live.
Yeah, they do that at courts, but not always. So that was one of the things I learned about this place. So there's that. And also, they don't do very much camping events. And they have like, even like their big events, they have 1-day events. So it starts, okay, let's say 8-ish or so. Well, I get there 8 to help set up and stuff. But you got to get out of the park by 6 o'clock. So really, closing court is at 3 or 4 o'clock, usually on average.
Wow.
Plus, it's very sparse. Even like for me to go to, or used to be able to go to fight practice for Angels, it's in Monrovia, which is, I still don't know the geography of it, but it's a little away from Pasadena. So it's Pasadena, and you pass it and you keep going, and it's like 45 minutes to get there. So that even though the Altavia one, the fight practice is closer, but still, it still takes a while. And it's like we have people in Angels who live in, okay, this doesn't make any, even if I said they live in Chino, that doesn't mean anything to you. This is like somebody living in Madrona coming to fight practice in Olympia,
It takes some time.
Somewhat,
Right.
yeah. So it's like no one would normally, but on like a daily, regular basis on, geez, it's been so long, I've forgotten when we had fight practice. But the other down thing about that is because we're so far, because what we used to do when we were a shire, and I think sometimes as a barony, is after council meetings or after fight practices, we would sometimes then go to Denny's or Coco's or something.
Yeah.
And we would like bond some more or finish talking about some of the business stuff we talk about. We don't get a chance to do that here because we are so far apart.
So
that once you go to fight practice, you go to fight practice, and when it's done, you go,
You go.
for the business meeting.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I miss. I miss Ontario for that.
Well, right now there's none of that going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're all equal now.
Ironically, the entire SCA is on an even level of we ain't doing jack.
I hear some kingdoms do court and some kingdoms don't. Ours did for a while, and they're gonna do one. They stopped because they didn't stop, but I mean, they used to have almost a weekly short one just to give us updates, but since nothing changed coronavirus wise, but we have had, Kaid's been doing royal court, since March. Um, but I hear other kingdoms don't do it.
Well, you know, we've had two, we've had two, one baronial court where we had a changeover, and then we had a baronial court this month. Yes, right.
Oh yeah, because I saw it. I watched it.
And then we're going to have our Yule and a court at Yule.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And
I hope to make it there too.
Yeah. Yes. And so yeah, there's courts going on, and there's classes and lots of stuff. But boy, howdy, I sure do miss a gathering.
Yeah. But
I have not hugged somebody in a long time. So
yeah, neither have I. And I'm not sure if when we get out of this, if it's possible for us to psychologically feel like hugging people. It might take a while if it ever happens.
No.
Hey.
No, no. It's going to be like the floodgates is open, and I'm going to be doing some hugging and people. Now, only if somebody wants me to. If someone looks at me and goes, no, I'm okay. All right.
And only if there's a vaccine.
Yeah, but if someone says, hey, I'm going to be like, hey. But yeah, this is one of those unusual things. Well, our time is up. Is there anything that you would like to share with our viewing audience about anything?
There's so much. Maybe could be. I do miss us physically being at events and stuff. Definitely, because it's the fellowship that makes us who we are as SCA wise. So I mean, you can go so far online with things, but it doesn't totally replicates actually physically being there and or how special it is to be around a Bardic circle and look up and look at stars while you hear somebody telling a story. You know, it's not quite the same as hearing somebody tell a story online. You know, so yeah. Well, it's fun being able to meet people you've never met or you'll never meet because they're living in England or something. You know, with this online stuff, and it's fun to attend events you never, like Penzic, to stuff like that you never would have dreamed of attending. But
right, it's not the same as it's not the same as being there.
It's not what makes us special.
Yeah. You know, I want to see. You know, yeah, I could stand up and show you my tunic, but it's not the same as. See, I got. Look at this! Look at this! Look at this stitching here, and look at this stitching here, and then yeah. It's just not.
Yeah.
Don't get the full.
Yeah, but even with the contests, I mean, when they do ANS contests and they have pictures of stuff, you know, online, right? Some of it you need to feel, you know.
And one of the things I miss as a bard is the audience.
Right. I mean, yeah. That's just the weirdest thing.
Tell me about it.
You'll see people doing the clappy thing or having the sign with the huzzah. I have a huzzah sign for when we do court. In Kaid, when they do court, it's like, you know, 3 cheers, hip hip, and you hold up the huzzah sign. You know, the herald does the hip hip, and we hold up the huzzah sign or something, or they do this thing. So, but for the Bardic, you know, the only person you get to hear a response from is after you're done. The person who's hosting the event will say, "Oh, thank you, that was wonderful," you know, whatever. But you don't hear. You might see it. Somebody might write in the comments or something their response to what you've done, but It's not the same.
I did.
The other thing that just now reminded me because of the Laurel Vigil actually was that the people themselves, um, the, well, we try to be courteous people. And my dad had gone to some of these events, and not many, but some. And he would, when he talked to regular folk about the SCA, and they're talking about me, it's like, oh, what is this group like? And he would tell them proudly about our um, customs. I don't know if I would say custom manners, I guess. But at my vigil, the thing I wanted to mention is at my vigil, it was in Eugene at a hotel there, and the vigil place itself was at a mezzanine, and the elevator didn't go there. And my dad was in a wheelchair, and so the only way is he to go up those steps. And um, I'm sure Connor McGuire was one of them, Squire Connor McGuire of the redheaded, well, he's not redheaded anymore, Sir Richard. He was there. He was he was in charge of taking care of my family. But there were these guys who just, they looked at what, okay, the vigil's there, the father needs to go there. Okay, let's just lift him up. And they lifted my dad up in his wheelchair up those stairs, just so he could get to my vigil. And I think my sister also has used that story as a way to illustrate to folks when people say, what kind of organization is this? And I say, well, let me tell you what kind of organization this is.
Let me tell you.
And they were like, you know, and when they tell the first time, it was like they were amazed, and I'm going, it's just us. That's how the SCA is. Of course, that's what they did, you know. But I appreciate it immensely that they did that. But it's part of the way we do things. Yeah, you know. So I wanted to make sure to mention that.
And that is a phenomenal story about, and it does show what chivalry and honor and respect that the SCA has. And if that type of story fills my heart, you know, and it's
something that people need to remember to do again. I don't know, and that's another thing to remember when we've been in this weird world for so long. Are we going to remember how to be that way, or because it's different? You know,
I think telling stories like that and others, and reminding everybody what we can be and what we should be and what we have to be
to last. Yeah.
To last. If we are going to last, that is what we should be. That is what we should strive for. If you see somebody who needs help, hey, you know, let's get this done. Let's get this taken care of. You know, that's
or just, or even like lately, because of what's being you know, the diversity issue is now so at forefront. That's something that, you know, I dealt with from the beginning, and wasn't something that was a wide-ranging issue for other people to think of correcting within the SCA. So it's also that it's a way of, it's like welcome everybody, not just Western European culture, you know. Or it's like when I had to come in, I had to verify somehow or justify how someone like me would be in Ontario, which is seen as, let's pretend it's England kind of thing, you know. So it is something that nobody else would think about. But if you're on this end, you have to think about that this is an issue. So I'm glad to see that in order to last, that is another thing you have to consider, is that you can't just say, well, in order to be in our group, you have to be this culture. Or if you are from this other different culture, you have to then, you know, give us some kind of proof of how somebody like you could be in Europe. So I'm glad, there's no, why would you join a group like that? So I'm glad it's actually now at the forefront more. Hopefully it will.
Well, I for one, my dear, are overjoyed that you are here. I wish you were here so I could give you a hug, and I wish you were here so I could hang out, But when we will, we will get together
It's gonna
again.
be an amazing party.
And we will have an amazing party in which there will be a progression of awards. There will be discussions. You and we will have discussions because I want you to be hugely a part of that, as well as
How long ago was the 25th anniversary event?
last year.
Was it really? Oh,
Was that wait a minute? What was that last? Yeah,
long.
that was last year. That was last year, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Yeah.
2 more years to go for the 30th. So hopefully everything will be cleared up and we can actually have an actual event instead of virtual events.
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be
we're gonna have there's gonna be a party. There's gonna be we got
rent a bigger hall.
I like that little hall, but and it was cheap. It was cheap, but it was cold. A lot of people were cold. Me, I'm just a polar bear, so I don't get that cold. But we would have to have a bigger hall, and because I want a lot of people. I want a lot of people to celebrate.
Whether you want it or not, they'll come because people will still miss actually seeing physically people.
30, so it'd be the 35th.
35th, not the 30th.
Well, it'll be the 30th. It'll be the 30th. Wow, I'm just forging ahead. It'll be the 30th.
Jeez, man, you're the one who's living in Glymm. I'm living here, and I have to remind you. Come on.
I have a horrible linear memory. So yeah, it was 25. It was the 25th year. It was the 25th anniversary. This next one will be the 30th. So yes, we will have a shindig. We will have a hootenanny. We will have a big blast. So a big Bavarian blast.
And next time, don't forget to invite the founder on Horrid.
That was my fault. That was my fault. And Thorin, I got a message from Dagmar saying, he wasn't feeling good at the time. Otherwise, they would have been there. So
yeah, because she was from there too. Almost
right.
all the queens that reigned with Thorin came from Glymm or Everclear. Yeah, Anahard, Sinead, Dagmar. Yeah, that's the 3. I think that's it. But we had other ones who also came. Like Adara came from Everclear. I mean, us. Yeah, Everclear.
We need to get some heavy fighters to win crown. Yes, we do.
Yeah, on Horrid, that was every time she was queen, she always left a spot on the Eric for us, her founding area. Always. I remember at September Crown once, everyone kept wanting to have the spot next to the Royal Pavilion at the Eric, and she would always say, no, this is for Everclear. This is for Everclear. So she always, so both in their ways, Thorn and Anhard always kept us, whenever they reigned, they always either would, not cull, that was the wrong word, would take some people from the local area to be on their retinue or some way of involving somebody one way or another, or as a homage to our roots.
To the beginning.
Yeah,
beginning. All right, my dear. It has been a little bit over an hour and 10 minutes now, hour and 13. And I want to thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And can I ask you if you would sing, not tonight, another song, but can I ask you if you would participate in possibly another song at another time?
Sure. I'm also thinking of volunteering to do something at Yule.
Ooh.
Because it looks like the Barony of Angels Yule and the Glymm Yule are at different dates. So I wanted to attend the Yule feast, the Glymm Yule feast as well. And I'm volunteering to entertain as well.
You heard it right here. Damn Gorandookht.
But if you have any special requests for that other time you want me to sing, whatever it is, let me know. Text me.
I will do that.
I know things in English, not just Armenian. I just did one in English, but more serious. I can do a serious one.
No, I think possibly an Armenian tune would not be unwelcome. I would welcome it, and I would welcome anything that you would sing. So okay. Thank you, dear. I love you.
Thank you.
Miss you, and
yeah.
Again, thank you.
They know down here that my heart is always in Ontario and Glymm. They know that. Okay.
You heard it here. Her heart is here.
Yeah, I did a fealty when I finally did a fealty for Caid Majesty's here. Well, before leaving, the last 12th night, they called into business me for some reason, and it ended up being just a surprise. Hey, this lady is leaving, sort of thing. And one of the gifts that were given to me was a scroll, and it said that I'm ambassador or an emissary or something. And the king then said to me, show this to their majesties of Caid. So when it was time for me to do the fealty thing, I showed them a picture on a cell phone. Here it is. I'd explained. And the queen said, we understand that, we're honored that you are giving us your fealty here, but we understand your heart is always in Ontario. I'm going, yeah. Thank you for understanding that.
Thank you for understanding that. All right, so from Dame Goran, thank you, and myself, good evening.
Ciao.
And that was Gorandookht, Dame Gorandookht, and her awesomeness. And now, yeah, we're done. So thank you, everybody, for watching Live in Glymm and being a part of everything. So from His Lordship Volk the Grey, have a good night and have a good day.